Guys, Sean Bucci, surplusfundsriches.net, and today we're going to talk about the housing market 2023 through well into 2024. I know you guys are hearing a lot of, I'd say whispers, but they're not whispers. It's a chorus right now. People yelling and screaming that we're about to have a huge real estate crash. And some people are cheering that on. Some people are saying that would actually help with flipping property. It would also help with surplus funds retrieval. Others are saying it's Armageddon. It would be the worst thing that could happen. Let's talk about it first, and then I'm going to give you guys an overview of how this impacts your surplus fund and your flipping business. No, I don't agree with these guys, but I'm going to actually give you numbers and facts instead of just talking out of my tail about this. So what's coming? Is it a flat line coming? Is it a crash coming? Is it the opposite? Are we going to go through the roof even more? Here's the factors we're going to be looking at, guys. These impact surplus funds and flipping. Number one, supply and demand. Number two, inflationary pressures. Number three, employment. Number four, mortgage rates and tax values. Cost of that. Very important we cover that. That's going to be key to this whole thing. And the rental market, which is often overlooked. But I got to tell you, I started in real estate in late 93. And one of the huge things we always kept an eye on were rents versus mortgage payments. And I'll come to that too. And of course, I'm going to tie all this up with what you guys need to know in your surplus funds or your flipping business. Of course, we'll be covering what this means for all of that. Okay, guys, so supply and demand is pretty obvious what's going on right now. We are lopsided. While the rate of property appreciation has actually slowed, it is still appreciating. And with rates up so much recently, there's a lock on the market with homeowners staying where they are. And let me tell you what I mean by that. For instance, I'm in a larger home. I'm in my late 50s. If I could get the same rate, which was around 3% when I bought this house, and scale down, use the equity I've gotten in this home and scale down and get a smaller home, I would consider it. I can't do that because if I sell this home and even put all the money down that I'd make on it onto the next home, now I'd be paying 7.5%, 8% on the next house. I would literally be in the same payment for less of a house. So that's why the guys aren't moving down. As far as moving up, instead of going up a couple $100 a month to get a larger home, they're going up 1,000 because the rates are so much higher. So there's a lock on the market right now. Demand, though, even with these rates, is still outstripping supply. We have a very low real estate participation rate with the younger crew because of the rates, okay? Length of time on the market has increased. And here's the key part that nobody's really talking about, guys. It's increased, but we're still not in equilibrium. It's always been assumed that for a market to be in equilibrium, it's not a buyer's market, it's not a seller's market, it's just a good overall market, is you have about a 6-month supply. What this shows you is this is 30 days. This is the average, okay? Average time on the market, median, I should say, time on the market for housing. And yes, we've seen a spike up here, January of 23, but this is actually, I know you can't see the numbers, 30, 40, 50, 60, a little over 70 days in January. Right now we're 30, 40, right around 50 days, or rather we were in July. So even in this range, even at 90 days, we're in a seller's market, okay? So real estate is still strong. It's going to retain its value. Now, real estate is like everything else. It is a regional animal. You can have markets that are destroyed right now, and people are pointing to those and saying that's the overall market. You can also have super hot markets. It is a very regional thing. Remember that. But bottom line is positive impact on housing market for sellers. It's a seller's market right now. Obviously, being a seller's market is not the best situation for flippers, so it's been a little harder going these days, flipping property, finding real deals. I'll tell you how to fix that at the end of this. So inflationary pressures, there is some impact on the housing across the board of values, guys. Bottom line is people have less money to spend on housing right now. And here you have your adjusted 12-month percentage change consumer price index. This is for all items. So it gives you a really good idea overall what's happening to the American pocketbook. And you can see we're flirting with 5% right now. We're actually 3 and some change, but we're flirting with 5%. That is not horrible, but it's enough to impact everybody. And because we went through this huge upswing, you can see that's going into 2020, or rather 2021, 2022. We went into this huge upswing. So everything's already adjusted up a lot, right? Now it's going up at a lower, much lower rate. But you can see that obviously this has had an impact on people's ability to purchase homes. It's also had an impact on people being able to keep their homes. Gas has gone up, food has gone up, everything is more expensive. Employment, this is the thing that's kind of befuddling all the pros out there, right? So we're at 3.8%. October 3.7, we dropped down to 3.4 in January. And you can see we're on this kind of swing right now. And yeah, we're at 3.8%. That is not bad for an unemployment number. It's really not. People are working. Okay. So that is going to drive when they finally understand that historically 7.5%, 8% mortgage rates is not a horrible thing. You're going to get more and more buying. That brings us to mortgage rates. So 7.5% or 8% rates are not bad, guys. That's normal. Most folks, anybody over 40 understands that. Many are going ahead and betting on lower rates in the future. I think that's a mistake. But that's where we are right now. People are rationalizing their purchase. There is still a really strong home demand, and we've got the younger folks out there that want the American dream. They're getting married. They want the fence, the white picket fence in the house, and they're pushing ahead. And 8% is not bad. The negative impact is going to come from property taxes. Taxes are something that no one is talking about. Property taxes are assessed against property based on the value of the property, and many homes have gone up dramatically since the pandemic. Dramatically, guys. Annual tax bill increase is going to be dramatic. Remember, mortgage payments include principal payment, interest payment, taxes. The bank escrows those funds. It's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is what's part of a mortgage. So taxes is going up. A lot of people don't understand this. Mortgage payments are going up because the bank has to escrow or pull aside enough money to pay the taxes at the end of the year. So when the taxes doubled, that portion of the PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, is going to go up to cover that. Mortgage payments are going to go up quite a bit in most locales. Tax bills will most dramatically impact the lower end guys, particularly where property has been inherited and or paid off and owned by folks of limited means. You're going to see a huge uptick in mortgage and tax. When I say huge, guys, it's not like the crash of '08. A huge uptick would be 10 to 15% year over year. That'd be a huge uptick. And yes, I do think we're going to see that in the next year or two. Remember that it takes a little while. People hold on by their fingernails and make adjustments and sell things and do all that. So it takes a little while for this stuff to actually hit. You do see some counties that are well run actually reducing the rate of taxes on property because the values have gone up so much, and they are still going to be fine with their budget, but that's pretty rare. See that uptick. That's what happened. They started reevaluating. This is mortgage rates right here. You're going to see a slight more uptick in mortgage rates, guys. But taxes is the story here. Property taxes annually. This is all opinion. See, coming from a real estate background, we used to constantly watch rents versus mortgage payments, okay? Rental costs are increasing on landlords. Taxes on the property we just talked about, cost of maintenance, and they're going to pass that on to rentals. They're going to in the form of higher rents. They have to cover them up. So being in real estate, I've always followed the rental market because this is where you find a very important tipping point. When rents overtake the cost of ownership, mortgage payment, it makes sense to purchase instead. And that pushes a lot of people off the fence. That's the rationalization they need. Most people, whether it's houses or cars, whatever, only pay attention to their monthly bill, not the renter mortgage. Okay, look, is it cheaper for me? What are my monthly payments on a mortgage? What are my monthly payments if I'm renting? It's that simple. They look at the monthly. Okay. So you can see the percentage change in rental costs and how it's gone up 0.8% in 15, going to threes, even touching on 4 here since then. 2021, it went up 8.67%, 22, 9%. and then again around 9% in 2023. Okay. That's a huge increase. And that is probably going to continue as landlords offset their additional costs. So that's going to push more people to buy. So yes, guys, we're going to have more foreclosures. We're going to have a lot more foreclosures, tax and mortgage. I do think there's going to be a little more opportunity in mortgage. We are going to have more foreclosures. You're going to see a lot more surplus funds being created. Right now, the average is 50 grand. Because the market, here's the whole point of all this to wrap it up. And I'm going to go through this as well. But the whole point is because the market is still strong, the average overage is going to stay high. As far as the flip side, the sellers are still getting the memo as far as property value change that's going on in the lower end. That's going to get hit higher, but it is going to become a great opportunity in the dumpster dive section. So let's go over this. I do want to caution you. If you're watching real estate closely, remember it can turn very quickly, guys. Case-Shiller is not their rolling average. That is not something you want to watch because that's going to be it averages pricing over 3 months, and you don't want to watch that because it kind of evens it out. And real estate can turn very, very quickly. So I would just watch the monthlies instead of the Case-Shiller. I don't want anyone to lose their home. Just let me throw that out there, but they're going to. And it's good that we're there to help them rebuild through either surplus funds retrieval or buying their home before the foreclosure. That's what we call our deed flip. What does all this mean? Foreclosures will increase, guys, but it will not be a crash, and the market will absorb them very, very quickly. When they absorb them, that means people are going to buy them very quickly, and they are going to still pay a premium for those properties and create quite a bit of surplus. So there's more surplus funds and flip deals to work. There's more flip deals to work as we go after pre-tax and mortgage foreclosure property. So there's more for us to consider and to go after. With market value holding steady, the average surplus will most probably stay high. Again, right now it's about 50 grand, and there's going to be a massive uptick in foreclosures. Not a massive. We could see 10% year over year, like I said earlier. For flips, opportunity is going to continue to be in the dumpster dive program. Properties, guys, properties in horrible condition. You can flip them quickly to other flippers without fixing them. And you can typically pick these up cheap on pre-tax sale foreclosures. That's your market, pre-tax sale foreclosures. Massive uptick, I do think. Well, like I said before, massive is 10% year over year. Uptick in deals to pursue. For surplus funds, you will see an increase in mortgage foreclosures a lot more than you think. Yes, there's going to be a lot of tax foreclosures, especially in the lower end, but mortgage overages are going to have a pretty big uptick, guys. Again, 10% year over year would be big for me on that because property taxes are a component of the mortgage payment. We covered that. And we've seen a dramatic increase in property values and therefore property taxes. We're looking at an uptick in tax and mortgage foreclosures, particularly mortgage. Tax foreclosure overage have always been strong and will increase, but mortgage overages will increase even more as a percentage of the foreclosure market. That's my opinion. We go after mortgage foreclosures as well as tax, mortgage foreclosure overages as well as tax, and our panning for hidden surplus, which is available in our diamond bundle, goes into going after property where you have to estimate the overage and how to do that accurately in those states where you can't get a mortgage overage list. I do think that's going to be our most productive program we have. Period. The end over the next year. Hope this has helped, guys. Have a great day.